me about winning the Golden Gloves, man. I'm from New York City. My brother competed in the Golden Gloves. You were one of his trainers. I unfortunately never competed in the Golden Gloves. We could get into that as to why I never competed in a bit. But talk to me about winning the Golden Gloves. What was that for you? Because I know that's a big deal in New York.
Absolutely, man. Let me tell you, when you're young and you're going, so Jimmy always taking me to all these Golden Glove shows, and you're watching all these guys fighting. So he used to take me, and I used to work the corners when he goes, you working the corners with me. And I used to be in the locker room with these guys. He'd rap. Let me tell you, that experience alone was great. And I'm like, now I'm setting myself up. So Jimmy always doing it for that same reason. He was setting me up for that because he knew eventually I was going to fight in the Golden Gloves. But when you're in the Junior Olympics and the Kid Gloves was the closest to the Golden Gloves. So in the summer, they used to have a tournament called the Kid Gloves, and the finals used to be outside the Felt Forum. So they used to close the street up and right across the street from the Felt Forum, and they had the finals right in front of the Felt Forum for the Kid Gloves for the younger kids.
The Felt Forum for everybody is the little room in Madison Square Garden.
I forgot. Yes, they changed the name. It's
the Hulu Theater.
The Hulu Theater. Yeah. So the Hulu Theater. So at the Garden, right at the Garden, but it was literally they used to take that 33rd Street or I forget what street. They used to close that street up right there,
and it would be outdoor fighting.
Out there, the Kid Gloves. So the Junior Olympics was indoors. The Kid Gloves was always outdoors. They used to be in the park. I used to love that tournament. We used to go out. You used to always travel different places, and it was always an outside show. So everybody used to come out and gather around.
Man, it's a shame. It's a shame that we don't have that now. There's no boxing gyms in New York. The rent is too expensive.
Let me tell you, I had the gym.
I remember,
and I was like, man, this is tough, and especially when you're trying to do the right thing for people.
Yeah. Well, let's not get too off track. How was that experience winning the Golden Gloves?
So now I turned 16. And now I'm ready to go in the Golden Gloves. Man, what an experience! Because remember, even though I had the experience as a JO, now I'm going into the bigger levels. And 16 years old, the guy that I fought in the final was 28 years old. So just imagine me fighting a 28-year-old at 16.
Damn.
But you went. So I was one of the favorites because I already had in history from the juniors, winning the Junior Olympics, the Kid Gloves and stuff like that, and going to the nationals and the regionals and all that. So I already had my experience from the JO. So I had that advantage. They don't do that anymore. They changed that because a lot of kids were coming up and they were just beating up a lot of these older guys. But it wasn't fair. Sometimes, but then again, I'm a 16-year-old fighting a 28-year-old with a full man's power, and I didn't have that power. But let me tell you, when I won my first Golden Glove, man, that was the best feeling. But when I fought at the finals at Madison Square Garden at 16, my man, and they announced you the winner and they wrapped that Golden Glove in your neck. That's priceless, bro. I don't even have words to express the feeling of winning that, man. At 16 years old, winning a pair of Golden Gloves,
Wow.
It's sad. It's sad that it's gone.
It really is. It really is. And I don't know who to blame. I don't know what we got to do to bring it back. Just because it's gone don't mean it can't come back. But I think it's such a New York story. It's such a part of New York.
Listen,
that it's a shame we don't have it anymore, and I think it could come back, but it's just we need more boxes. We need more boxes.
I mean, listen, a lot of people came to the U.S. from different countries to fight and became citizens to fight in the Golden Glove. That's how big this tournament was.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Breland winning it 5 years in a row. Riddick Bowe won it like 4 or 5 times. 4 times. I mean, you got all these good famous boxers, Shannon Briggs won the gloves.
Sugar Ray Robinson. All the way back. Sugar Ray Robinson, Zab
Judah, man.
All those New York fighters.
It's sad because a lot of people train and you look up to this tournament every year, and then that was the tournament that you wanted to be in. You know, and then from there you go to the National Golden Gloves, man. It's sad, man. But it was a great feeling, man. There was nothing better than stepping in the ring in Madison Square Garden and fighting, man. It felt like an actual professional fight, you know. But
the guy who used to run the Golden Gloves recently, Brian Adams.
Brian Adams, that was my boy Brian Adams. We fought each other.
From what I understand, you guys had somewhat of a rivalry.
Yeah, we had a rivalry, and the crazy thing is that it was always me and him, you know, like in the same weight division, and he was knocking everybody out, and then the only guy, you know, he beat me twice. I got no shame.
You 0-2? You 0-2 against him?
I'm 0-2. You know, I honestly feel that I beat him the first time I fought him. I fought him in 92 in the finals of the Metropolitan Championships, and you know. He got the win. I felt I won, you know. But you know, listen, it is what it is. At the time, you know, he had a name. He was coming up, and he was beating everybody. He was a national fighter, so he had a big name going. So you know, if you're not even though we you know, I had a name, but I had taken off boxing for a little bit because when I joined the police academy, I kind of took off from boxing for a little bit. So then I came back and I took it serious again. But you know, He beat me. I thought I beat him the first time, but he got it, and then he beat me in the finals of the Golden Gloves. He was going for his third Golden Gloves at the same weight division. I was going for my third Golden Gloves I was going to be the second fighter in history to win 3 gloves in 3 different weight divisions.
Damn.
So
that was a big moment for both of you guys.
So it was big. It was big. You know, when they were talking about it. You know, Brian Adams, 3-time Golden Glove champion at 132. Felipe Gomez. You know, he's going for his third Golden Glove championship in a third weight division. So yeah, so he stopped me from setting you know, history.
It's okay.
But that's my boy, man. Me and we get along. We to this day we stay in touch. We good friends. We never.
I remember seeing him in the gym.
It's funny because a lot of people don't. You know, I hear a lot of people don't like him. They don't get along with him. But you know. But me and him to this day, even though we were rivalry, we still get along, man. We got that good relationship. And he used to run. Then after that, he was running the Golden Gloves.
I remember.
He was the director of the Golden Gloves.
I remember. All right, now let's get back into kind of like your cop career and tie it in with boxing. So, from what I understand, you was trying to go professional to make some money, but you at the same time you were pursuing being a police officer, and there was some conflict there. Can you tell me the story?
So now, you know, after my negative experience with the police officer, I said, you know what, let me take the test. If you can't beat him, you join him. Let's take the police officer test and become a cop. I took the test, but they were taking forever to call me. So then I said, you know what? So I took the test, I passed. So I thought they were never going to call me, but in 92, early of 92, I got maybe like towards the end of 91, I got called to start my process to become a police officer. So I go through the whole process. I was supposed to join the police department in 92, but I didn't get, so back then they were very strict. So because I missed one piece of paperwork, I missed the academy in June of 92. So I had to wait a whole year. So then I said, you know what? So I keep fighting as an amateur. I said, you know, I'll wait to the police department. I fought in the Golden Gloves in 93. I won the gloves. I go to the Nationals. I made it far. I made it to like the semis in the National Golden Gloves. I come back. I said, you know what? They're not calling me. I was supposed to go in the police academy, supposedly. So the class was in June 92. I didn't go in. I missed that. So they said January of 93. They didn't put it in. Then they say February. They keep changing the date. Now they say June. Nothing happens. So I said, you know what? I come back from the Golden Gloves, from the National Golden Gloves. I said, I'm turning pro. Then I get the letter to join the police department in August of 93. I said, you know what? Shit, man. Let me wait. Let me just join the police department. Then when I get off probation, then I'll turn pro. And I figured, you know, I already had a good following. So I said, you know, if I join the police department, I'm gonna have a bigger following. So, you know, because I'm thinking business-wise, you know, in the pros.
The policeman who's now also a boxer.
A boxer, and you know, and then I want to have that crowd there.
Yeah, all the NYP off-duty
when I fought in the Golden Gloves in the finals, every time I fought, I had a huge crowd. So I knew I was gonna have that same crowd. So when I turned pro, so I said, you know what, let me wait. So I said let me put the professional career on hold. Let me join the police department. I get to the police department. I do a few years. Now I decide I want to turn pro like in 97. I waited like 4 years. I got off probation. So when you're in the police department, I don't know how it is now, but back then you had to submit if you was going to make money, you had to submit for an off-duty employment. So because now I'm going to make money aside from the police department. So once you submit the off-duty employment, the police department will look at it. They will go through the review it. They'll see if that job it's going to have any type of conflict with the police department. If it does, they'll deny you. They say, no, you can't do that. But if there's no conflict with the police department, they'll let you do the job. So I'm like, well, I'm turning pro. They got a PBA boxing team. I was part of the PBA boxing team. I fought for the police department for so many years. After joining the police department, I joined the PBA boxing team. We traveled all over the world. We went to Europe. We went everywhere. We traveled everywhere. We fought a bunch of different police departments. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't fight a police officer because with my experience, they didn't have cops with that experience. So they used to always get like one of the nationals fighters, and I always end up fighting some national fighters when I represented the police department. But long story short, now I say, so there shouldn't be any issues me turning pro because, they got a PBA, they got a boxing team. The police department got a boxing team, so everything should be good. I filed for the off-duty employment. I sent it in. Now I'm scheduled to fight. So I've been scheduled to fight like in, August, June or August, something like that. June, July, August, one of those months. I get the off-duty employment response back like a month before my pro debut. Now, mind you, I have sold 250 tickets for my fight, for my pro debut. So I'm looking at the letter that I get. It was sent to me at the office. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, what? It says, due to the fact that in the police department, there's a higher risk of a fighter. Due to the fact that in boxing, there's a high risk of a fighter getting injured. And because you wear no headgear, you have no headgear, and you wear smaller gloves, there's a risk of the person getting injured, and then if I'm a police officer, it could stop me from performing my official duties. I'm like, what? I said, yeah, I got denied turning pro. I'm like, well, you got a boxing team, Anyway, so I fought it, and when
you took it to court.
I hired. So the police department actually gave me an attorney because it was through the police department. So I got an attorney assigned from the. From the PBA, which was my first mistake. I probably should have went outside the police department and got a real, not no disrespect to the police department, but when I say real, meaning somebody that's really going to go all out for me.
Somebody that is on your side and is in your best interest.
And it's going to be on my best interest. Fortunately with the PBA, they're going to have both parties' interests. So I ended up getting this PBA attorney. He dragged his feet. Years later, I end up still losing the case. It actually went to the appellate division. That's how high it went. Wow. And they came back saying that I wasn't allowed to turn pro. Now, I see all these cops turning pro. I'm like, wow. Wow.
Change.
I'm like, what's going on here, NYPD? Why me? Because I always wonder where I would have been at right now if I would have turned pro, because I was a good fighter. I consider myself. I thought I had enough talent to make it far.
You think you could have grabbed a belt or two?
Listen, I thought I was good enough to be in the mix. Absolutely, I thought I was good enough. And listen, and at the end of the day, I'm only gonna get better. I'm not gonna get any worse. And I was already a Golden Glove champion, national champion. All the guys I lost to were all named fighters, like Brian Adams had a name. Vivian Harris had won the Golden Gloves a couple of times, who turned pro, who became a good professional. I fought this guy that beat me in the Golden Gloves one year, Jonathan Talaferro. I lost a split decision to him, and he ended up winning the whole tournament. He actually beat me and Brian Adams. He beat me in the semifinal, beat Brian Adams in the finals, and he ended up getting the outstanding fighter of the tournament. And right after that, he went to the national, won the national, got signed by Top Rank, a guy named Jonathan Talaferro. So I have fought all these big names back in the days. In the nationals, I fought big names like Terrence. What was his name? Terrence Corton, who won the silver medal in the Olympics. I fought Rock Allen, they were twins that from Philly, who were all national champions and they made the Olympic teams. So I had all these big names under my belt. So I'm like, you know what? I know I'm gonna make it. I think I got a possibility of being up there. And unfortunately, I never got the opportunity to experience that professional. career.
How much does that bother you? Like, you know, when your pillow hits when your head hits the pillow at night, how much do you think like, damn, where would I been? Would I have been a champion?
To this day, man, to this day, I always wonder. It bothers me, man. It sits right here. I'm like, oh man, I wonder where I would have been at, man. So I'm not gonna say that I regret doing it because again, I don't regret not taking the police department. I mean, the police department was a great job. I was treated well. I moved up in ranks. I did a lot of good stuff in the police department, and I was very grateful. And I'm not gonna say this again. I'm not gonna say that I regret it, but I always wonder where I would have been at. So yeah, so it sits here. It bothers me not to have the opportunity to turn pro.
Yeah. Okay.